I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog. There's no doubt about it. He showed that.
Boxing icon Mike Tyson recently gave advice to Gervonta Tank Davis, urging him to think carefully before agreeing to a rematch with Lamont Roach. Tyson praised Davis's skills, but highlighted the challenges Roach brings to the table.
Davis, a lot of people say he reminds you of them. Does he remind you of yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just getting in trouble with the law. Other than that, no.
Tyson expressed his belief that Gervonta Davis is one of the best fighters in the world right now, but he also acknowledged that Davis has a tough fight ahead. Tyson pointed out that Davis is clearly at the top of his game, but when asked about any similarities between him and Davis, Tyson jokingly mentioned their shared history of legal troubles. He downplayed any comparison, saying that they're...
I don't really be trying. I like to hit the face.
What was Mike Tyson?
He was a brawler.
Brawl means more than one person. So he knocked people out real quick. You knock people out real quick.
Yeah, but I can knock you out like...
So you saying that you can knock him out faster than Mike Tyson, probably, if it was a challenge?
Mike Tyson got power and skills. I feel as though like I have like the whole package.
Davis on his part has spoken about being compared to Mike Tyson. While he respects Tyson's legendary power and abilities, Davis is confident that he has a more complete set of skills. He believes that he brings a full package to the ring, showing that he's versatile in all aspects of boxing.
Good night for the sport. Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay.
Davis on his part has spoken about being compared to Mike Tyson. While he respects Tyson's legendary power and abilities, Davis is confident that he has a more complete set of skills. He believes that he brings a full package to the ring, showing that he's versatile in all aspects of boxing.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight Inao. He will not fight those guys. That's just not who Tank is.
After his controversial draw with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis made it clear that he wants a rematch. He believes that a second fight would allow him to truly show what he's capable of, suggesting that the first fight didn't reflect his full potential. His determination to prove himself and clear up any doubts about his dominance in the light.
Following the Tyson fight, tell us, exactly why it's found in it.
Why wouldn't you even want to fight him? Who told Mike Tyson to fight anyway?
Do you think that it might have tarnished Mike's legacy in a way?
Done. So let's talk about
What's next for you? Hypothetically, if you are retiring, what's next for you? Are you going to be doing entrepreneurial stuff, training? Where can we see Tank in the next 3 to 5?
Yeah, I probably be more building my real estate portfolio and just trying to separate myself from the limelight.
You feel like it's harder to find a fight that you wanted years ago now that you guys are avoiding you now?
No. I don't even think about that stuff like that.
What good skills?
Me and fighters y'all fail to realize, me and fighters is different. You way different. I don't look at it I don't care about belts and I don't care about this stuff. I don't care about none of that. Yeah, I worry about getting my money and getting...
Some critics have raised the possibility that Davis might shy away from a rematch with Roach. They point to his decision not to fight Ryan Garcia again as evidence that Davis is hesitant to take on tough challenges. This has led some to question whether Davis is willing to face fighters.
I don't really be trying. I like to hit the face.
What was Mike Tyson?
He was a brawler.
Brawl means more than one person. So he knocked people out real quick. You knock people out real quick.
Yeah, but I can knock you out like...
So you saying that you can knock him out faster than Mike Tyson, probably, if it was a challenge?
Mike Tyson got power and skills. I feel as though I have the whole package.
In an honest commentary, Davis also expressed concern that Mike Tyson might hurt his legacy by taking part in exhibition matches with internet stars like Jake Paul. Davis's remarks suggest that Tyson should be careful about how he chooses to stay relevant in the sport.
Was Lamont Roach robbed in this fight? What do y'all think? We're seeing a lot of the comments. People seem to think he was. He did outland Tank Davis. But was it by enough to get that decision? What do you think? Here's one of the punches he threw at Tank Davis right here. You can see the effect. Tank Davis did not look like normal Tank Davis tonight. You could see Lamont applying the pressure all night, especially around that 6th round area where you usually see Tank Davis take off. I'll tell you what, it's one of the first fights I've paid for that we got our money's worth. What an ending, you know. So a majority draw was the decision. But what do y'all think, guys? Do you think Lamont got cheated out of this decision, or do you think the right call was a draw? It was a wild night. And then the knee, right? The knee was bizarre. Why did Gervonta Davis take a knee? That was strange to me. It came out of nowhere. He said it had something to do with something in his hair or whatnot. That was weird. Lamont thinks he won the fight. I think we're definitely going to get a rematch, but I want to ask the people out there, what do you think? Was Lamont robbed tonight? Let me know in the comments.
Mike Tyson, however, has shown great respect for Gervonta Davis's talent. Tyson believes that with continued dedication and making the right decisions, Davis has the potential to become a legendary figure in boxing. While Tyson acknowledges Davis's immense talent, he also stresses that Davis must be careful about the choices he makes.
And finally, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, you know, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming in there to fight, but he did a lot better than I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes, and yeah.
The recent fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach was a departure from Davis's usual matches, where he often wins by knockout. Roach showed impressive resilience, pushing Davis all 12 rounds, leading to a controversial draw. This outcome raised questions about Davis's ability to...
Yo, fight fans, did you catch that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach bout? Talk about controversy. The judges called it a draw. But let's be real, a lot of people think Roach got robbed. Both fighters brought their A-game, showing off some serious skills in the ring. Roach was on fire, landing clean shots and outworking Tank in several rounds. But Tank had his moments too, showcasing that explosive power we all know. But Tank going on one knee or being wobbled didn't swing it toward Roach. I don't know about that, but either way, now everyone's buzzing about an upcoming rematch. I mean, who wouldn't want to see these two go at it again? What's your take? Did Roach deserve the W, or was the draw fair? Drop your thoughts below and let's break down this fight.
Evan Haney, a fellow lightweight champion, shared his thoughts on the Roach-Davis fight, noting that he had always respected Roach's skills and believed Roach deserved the victory. Haney's opinion adds weight to the ongoing debate about the fight's outcome and highlights the respect Roach commands within the boxing community.
There is no call out. He doesn't do it. Now we're left wondering, are we going to get a rematch with this? Which I wouldn't hate, but I don't know if there's like a big demand for it. Tank has said prior to this night that like all of this is, you know, he's got 3 fights left. This would have been one of them. So that would have been at least 2 more essentially this year if he can squeeze them in, he said. It was supposed to be against Tank and Shakur Stevenson. Where are we with that now? What does this do to that? I genuinely don't know how to answer that question. I really don't. I don't know what PBC is going to... Dude, PBC has had a bit of a rough run of it. I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to pile on their difficulties, but like they lost Canelo or whatever the fuck Canelo's doing. Then they still have Gervonta. He's still a big star. I'm sure this sold well. And again, it sold well at the gate. So that's still great. But they're hoping to like build off of this. They didn't get it. They were trying to get something going with Tim Tszyu. That bottomed out last year. They wanted to get Errol Spence going. That didn't work.
The controversial draw between Davis and Roach, coupled with disputed decisions, has led to widespread calls for a rematch. Fans, analysts, and other fighters are eager to see a decisive outcome, and hope that a second fight will clear up any uncertainty about who is the better fighter. The drama
We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. So Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already notable. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on a decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevensons, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else, and that is the hairstylist situation. In my humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. There was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing was going to look at that like, I don't want her to break my hair. No one would have said that. But she hurt herself when she came out and publicly made multiple claims on all his receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. No one cares. Nobody even believed it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments. Should she have remained quiet, or should she have did what she did, when she spoke up? You let me know.
Boxing analyst Luke Thomas speculated that Davis might be considering retirement after completing the remaining 3 fights in his contract, possibly excluding a rematch with Roach. This possibility leaves fans unsure about whether a second fight between Davis and Roach will ever happen.
What did you make of that fight on the weekend? What did you make of the controversy in that one?
Look, I had just finished my recovery session, so I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then the fight, especially at the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed, so I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring, and again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto, take a knee, obviously into his corner, be put on the count.
Doubts also surround Davis's commitment to facing Roach again. Many point to the numerous high-paying fights available to Davis, suggesting he might avoid a rematch.
Well, it looks like Tank was not playing about this rematch, man. He's looking to probably get back in the ring with Roach by the end of May. And as far as that retirement stuff, it looks like that's out the window as well.
Course of your plans for your future.
Yeah, it definitely changed my plans. It definitely changed my plans. I probably got like 4 more fights now, for sure.
But I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. As much as, we hate the fact that he had a draw, I think this was the best thing for Tank. You could just kind of see, even in the press conferences and everything like that, he was kind of forcing himself to be interested. And I only know one person that can bring his interest back. Calvin is the key, man. Calvin has known Tank since he was a child. Nobody knows Tank more than Cal, man. He's the only person that I believe that can bring the best out of Tank. But what do y'all think, man? What do you think Tank needs to do differently in his next fight so he can get back to doing stuff like this, man, after ending his fights? Comment down below.
His hairstylist contradicted this claim, saying that Davis's hair had been styled the day before the match, implying that the issue wasn't as significant as Davis suggested.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bruh, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh, my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh, my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners. because they know you so well. I should have listened to Roy.
George Kambosos didn't hold back in sharing his thoughts on Davis's draw with Lamont Roach. He praised Roach for his impressive performance, noting that Roach's ability to push Davis and show such resilience was something few fighters have managed to do. Kambosos also acknowledged that Roach surprised many, including Davis, which is a rare feat in boxing.
So with the WBA set to order the Tank versus Roach rematch next, who would I pick in a second fight? Well, the short answer is Tank. In rounds 4 to 6, when Tank was the one leading the dance, he was a lot more effective. You know, with the straight left hand, the body shot combinations, he wasn't just sitting up against the ropes like the first few rounds. He also kept landing the straight left hand, you know, sometimes doubling up on that left hand, and Roach would have an issue with the timing. He would then mix up the combinations to the body, and then up top with the hook to the head. I thought Tank was going to swing the momentum in these 3 rounds, but then he started waiting again in the second half of the fight. And if Tank wants to make the rematch a high-paced war on the inside, he's going to get the better of Roach. You know, left hook up top, you know, good head movement, uppercut to the body. Again, left hand there by Tank, another left hand right hook. I thought he was doing a lot better when exchanging. I mean, the issue with Tank, and not just this fight, but in general, is he always takes the first few rounds off. You know, he puts himself into a hole, relies on the big shot landing to win him the fight. So in a rematch, if he can impose himself on the front foot early, you know, land the power shots, especially the left hands and the body shots, I think he can slowly wear Roach down and potentially find a stoppage.
Despite the controversy, Gervonta Davis appears more determined than ever. Reports indicate that he has reconsidered his previous thoughts on retirement and is now focused on securing a rematch with Lamont Roach. Fans and analysts alike have noticed a shift in his attitude, with Davis now seeming more eager to step back into the ring and prove himself. His decision to pursue a rematch marks a significant change in his career.
Good fight. He had a cut, you know, busted lip. Rest in peace to Rafael Garcia. Did a great job with that cut. People say, oh, look, Floyd got a busted lip. He lost to Maidana. Rematch beat him even easier. So hopefully Tank does rematch Lamont Roach and we get that. He said that he might fight someone else before that, but hopefully we get at some point a Lamont Roach fight in the near future. You know what I mean? But you guys have to learn how to score a fight. People, and it's always people, because there's nothing like big league, big star boxing. It's just different. UFC, all that stuff is different. There's nothing that can compare to big boxing and big boxing events, period, on that bright stage. So everybody, you start seeing the influx of people who opine on boxing.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult made a bold prediction regarding a potential rematch, stating that Lamont Roach would knock out Gervonta Davis in the second fight. He argued that in their first match, Roach had already shown he could go the full distance with Davis, something few fighters have been able to do. Showbiz the Adult believes
He like, forget that, let me take a knee. That's a knockdown. But either way, it looked like they may have an immediate rematch. Roach and Gervonta Tank Davis goes back and forth on X, and here's what they say. Which is, it seems to me that, okay, if the New York State Athletic Commission overturns the result of the fight, then yeah, it's an immediate rematch anyway. Like Lamont Roach said, you know, he has it in the contract. But if it remains a draw, it looks like Tank's still going to push for the rematch. And I'm hearing that, you know, the fight that they were going to have, which would delay this rematch, was a fight with Pitbull. You could argue that a rematch with Lamont Roach would be far bigger than a rematch with Pitbull. But let me know how you feel in the comments below. Showbiz Adult.
While some believe Roach might have the upper hand, boxing experts have analyzed what Davis needs to do to win a rematch. They suggest that Davis's main issue in the first fight was his lack of focus. Even Davis's own coach admitted that the key factor missing from Davis's performance was concentration.